Hi Leo, welcome back to my channel, Karma Fox. I am doing your weekly reading. I hope everybody is well. I am going to take a quick second, Leo, to remind you that this is a general reading. It may not resonate with every single Leo out there. So guys, just take what resonates for you and leave the rest for someone else. Also, keep in mind the energies may reverse. So if it is resonating, get in where you fit in, but don't force yourself into a reading that's not for you. Spirit, can I have the energy of the sign of Leo? Leo. All right, Leo, you are starting out with the Ace of Cups. You have the Hangman. And you have Temperance in the reverse. So this could be you pouring love into yourself. But it's also like you're waiting. You're kind of waiting for this Ace of Cups to come through. That would be either a totally new beginning, or possibly a, reconciliation, but it's a brand new start for you with regard to love. I do feel like you are still healing from something, so your emotions could be kind of up and down a little bit, and there's a sense of you kind of waiting to see what's going to happen, waiting. I'm really getting the view of somebody that's waiting to see if this is going to actually be, how do I word this? Actually going to be like sturdy, or are you going to get out on that limb and then all of a sudden, it crashes? So, and I feel like you're healing from something that was pretty heavy. You're wanting to make sure this is going to be a balanced and equal give and take. And so you're kind of holding back a little bit here. Let me see who's in your energy. Show me who is in Leo's energy. Show me who is in Leo's energy. All right, so the person in your energy, we have the Eight of Cups, we have the Fool, and we have the Five of Swords. All right, so this person in your energy, I feel like at some point this person may have walked away either from this connection, or they're walking away from something else. Because we do see them taking a risk, having this new beginning, which I feel like you kind of waited for. So it could literally be somebody who's walked away from another situation because it wasn't making them happy, and they're trying to move towards their wish fulfillment. So either way, they want to take a risk. It could also be somebody who walked away from this connection and now is returning. So I do feel like with the Five of Swords, they have a lot of conflict about, this whole thing. And I feel like that's what's making you feel emotional, because they're very conflicted. They're not always as clear about what it is that they want, or about their decisions as you would like for them to be. But I'm telling you, there is this energy of the Fool. It's the energy of taking a risk, having a new beginning. So let's see the energy between Leo and this person. Thank you. The Ten of Pentacles. You're both thinking long term. Yeah, you're both thinking long term. You're both feeling like the other person would be loyal, that there would be this ability to build something strong together. The energy between the two of you is extremely nice. Let me see what's affecting this connection. Six of Pentacles reversed. It could be finances is affecting it, but it looks more like it's an unequal give and take. And that's a stickler point for you, because you're waiting for this to balance out. You're waiting for this person to give as much as you're giving. And right now, there's a sense of it not being balanced. But I do see changes happening, and I see this person embracing those changes. Let me see, show me the outcome. Page of Wands. Yeah, you got good news coming. Good news. And the Page of Wands also is like a passionate beginning as well. Yeah. So be careful, because for some of you, I have to say this because I am seeing it in the cards. It's obviously not going to be for everyone, but some of you could find that you are pregnant. So if you're not trying to get pregnant, better use some precaution here. Page of Wands can be a child. And there's a sense of waiting here, a sense of waiting and, you know, concern and worry. So yeah, just that's for somebody out there, but again, it's obviously not for most of you. Bottom of the deck is the Star card. This is underlying energy. It indicates, Leo, that you've done a tremendous amount of healing and you are now feeling much more hopeful about things. Now, you might be dealing with a Pisces. I'll let you know if I see any other signs as I go through, but let's clarify your reading. Spirit, why is the Ace of Cups here for Leo? Ooh, nice. You have the Ace of Pentacles clarifying the Ace of Cups. That's beautiful. All right, so Ace of Pentacles, Page of Cups. You have feelings for this person. Yeah. I mean, your energy looks really good with regard to this person. You're feeling the love. You're pouring love into self. And there's this stable new beginning that's happening. And incidentally, you could be getting a large sum of money that is coming in as well. There could be an apology attached to that money, by the way. Doesn't have to be, but it looks like it. Now, I'm also seeing that for some of you, this person may be coming back towards you to apologize for something. Let me see the Hangman. All right, we have the Two of Coins, we have Judgment. Yeah, you were waiting for this reconciliation, but you want something balanced. You're not, so I see you guys as waiting for a balanced reconciliation. It's not enough just to have a reconciliation. I think a lot of you have been there, done that. And so you're waiting for a balanced reconciliation. And in your energy, I see you kind of weighing up the pros and cons of this and whether or not it is balanced or it's not balanced. You don't want to get out on a limb and find out that this person's not stable because you want the love, you want the stability. Let me see Temperance in reverse. Okay, so we have the Ace of Swords, we have the Eight of Pentacles reverse, and the Devil. Wow, okay. So you might be seeing some toxic energy. I feel like there has been toxic energy in the past. I feel like this person may have breadcrumbed you, or at the minimum, and at best, this person was just not really giving to the connection. It's the energy of how you were giving. I do feel like until you get the clarity that you are waiting for, and that clarity being about stability and equal give and take, and a very balanced reconciliation, you're not going to budge. You're not going to move forward. I see that you are very attracted to this person. You feel very drawn to them. But at the same time, I feel like you are very crystal clear that you're not going to put effort into something that is not going to be good for you. And that's where that healing comes from. So you're basically choosing yourself over anybody else, which is positive because that's how you become a rounded person yourself. And then you raise those standards, and this person will either meet those standards or not. And we do know that in the past, either with this person or with somebody else, you accepted some toxic energy, but you're saying, no, not anymore. That's just going to put me back where I was in the past. But I feel like it's difficult for you to institute those boundaries. So let me see this person's energy. Why is the Eight of Cups here for the person in Leo's energy? Why is the Eight of Cups here? Now, for some of you, you might even be married to this person or already in a connection. All right, we have the World and we have the King of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, this person has a difficult time showing their emotions, and they're trying to put an end to that cycle. They're trying to embrace the changes here. They're trying to think long term. They're trying to be more affectionate. So for some of you, you absolutely could be getting an apology if this is a past person. This would be somebody that walked away and acted like they didn't even care. This person wants to close out all of that so that they can have this new beginning with you. because they're viewing you as, you know, with the everything card, having, you know, building an empire together, building a family together, whatever that might mean to you. So I do feel like they have a difficult time with their own feelings and emotions, and they have a hard time expressing those feelings and emotions. But it looks like they're working on that. You could be dealing with a very strong Pisces energy, but it could also be a Cancer or a Scorpio. Why is the Fool here? Why is the Fool here for the person in Leo's energy? The Emperor reversed. That's Aries energy. And the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, they're making an offer to you. That's what this could be as well, this Page of Cups. It could be this offer. However, the thing is this person can be very controlling. The Emperor in the reverse can be somebody who's not very nice. It's coming out very close to the Five of Swords, and that can indicate some narcissistic behavior. It can indicate somebody who, when things don't go their way, they become extremely controlling. And it's also coming out by this Six of Pentacles reverse, which indicates that, you know, this person may pull back their emotions and they may try to control the situation. However, like I said, I do see them trying to work on that, but they do have a long way to go because there's still some imbalance in their energy here. Why is the Five of Swords here for the person in Leo's energy? All right, we have the Seven of Wands reversed, and we have the Strength card. They're very focused on you. Some of you could be dealing with another Leo, but I do feel like there's been conflict between you and this person. They definitely want to put an end to that conflict so that this new beginning does go through. I also, like I had said earlier, feel that this person is working on themselves. I do feel like they are coming to terms with some of their own behaviors here, and they are trying to address that. Now, that being said, you see their behaviors as being far more toxic than what they do. So they could be a little bit in denial of that. Regardless, I do see this person, you know, absolutely working on themselves and wanting this connection. Let me see, but it's difficult for them to see themselves in the true light. Let me see the Ten of Pentacles. Why is the Ten of Pentacles here? Three of Cups reversed. Two of Cups reversed. Yeah, you may have been in a long-term connection or even married to this person. I do feel like there was an ending there. You kind of removed yourself. You were very isolative. I don't really see you dating. I don't see you going out with friends or family. I see you kind of staying to yourself, working on yourself, working on your money, pouring love into yourself. There's a sense here of unhappiness is at the root of that, but it's like you were trying to transmute that. Now, I do feel, and I feel like at some point you may have reached out to this person or them to you. In their energy, this person has felt like the two of you were not on the same page. I definitely see the ending, and I do feel like that's what caused this person to really pull back. And I feel like they were the one who walked away from this connection because they weren't sure that it was what they wanted. And it's, you know, here's the thing, Leo, is that they had the Ten of Pentacles here. They had everything. They had loyalty. They had love. It's the energy of building something together, having family. And they walked away from all of that. They ended it and walked away. And I feel like it made them very unhappy. Now they want to close out that chapter so that they can have this new beginning. Let me see the Six of Pentacles reversed. Show me the Six of Pentacles reversed. Oh, look at how the energy changed. Okay, so you have the Nine of Pentacles. They have the Five of Pentacles. You might make more money than them. Doesn't have to be, but what I will say is that you made some really good judgment calls during this time. I do feel like you were kind of waiting. I don't see you really dating or going out with a lot of people or anything of that nature. You might have gone out with maybe, you know, one person or something of that nature, but ultimately it looks like you were waiting for this reconciliation here, but a balanced one. So as you were waiting, you became very strong. Nine of Pentacles is the Empress in the lower arcana. So you kind of stood up on your own. You did a tremendous amount of healing and working on yourself. You were pouring all that love and energy into you. You were working on your money. And it's worked for you, because I do feel like you're financially solid, you're strong, you're independent, you know your value, you know your self-worth, and you're basically saying, yeah, we can try this again, but only if it's balanced. And it hasn't been balanced in the past. Now, this person, in contrast to you, because you were in this healing energy, this person became extremely controlling. There looks like there was someone new in their energy for a minute. But it didn't work out. That person may have walked away from them and left them out in the cold. So it looks like they received karma for what they had done in the connection with you. They walked away from you, and at some point, somebody else walked away from them. And I do feel like it had to do with controlling behavior on both sides. So now this person is worried. They're like, I don't know if there can even be this new beginning, but I want to take a risk. So they are making that offer to you. They are. They are perceiving you putting these boundaries in place and you having done your healing, you being strong and independent. They're perceiving that in some manner as you rejecting them. I don't know if in the past there was some codependent energy, or if, they felt like you really needed them, but they're perceiving it as rejection. But I don't see it that way. I don't see it as rejection. I see that you have done some healing. So either way, they're going to make this offer. Let me see your outcome. Show me the outcome for Leo. Okay. All right, we have the Six of Swords. We have the Seven of Swords. And we have the Two of Swords. All right, so I do see you having good news coming. That good news has to do possibly with a move. Could be a physical move, or it could just be that this connection is moving away from chaos and moving towards peace. But regardless, I see like a beginning here, and I see good news. I see more peace than chaos. However, that being said, you don't trust this person's decisions. They've made the decision, and this can be someone hard to get along with. This person has made the decision that they want to, in the conflict between the two of you, they want to have this beginning and they want to move this towards a peaceful beginning. They are working on themselves. However, you don't trust their decisions. You're afraid that because of the previous toxic energy, that it's not going to work out. So there's a lack of trust here. And that's what keeps you up at night, ultimately. It's not a matter of whether or not you want this. It's not a matter of whether or not you have become solid or whether they're working on themselves. What keeps you up at night, Leo, is the worry that it's going to fall into toxicity again. And you just don't trust that they're going to make the right decisions here. So, bottom of the deck, we have the Empress. Now, it is in the reverse, and that's underlying energy. It does speak of self-esteem issues. It does speak of pulling back, not really nurturing the connection, and, worry and concern that the connection, even though it has all the potential, worry and concern that it's not going to grow, it's not going to prosper, it's not going to become everything that it could be. And I do see a lot of you guys have become very spiritual. I see that in a couple of places. That's come about through the healing you've done. And I feel like a lot of you are praying. There's this prayer that is being offered up, that things will prosper, things will grow. But the fear is what is kind of keeping you back a little bit. All right. But it's understandable. So just, I would work on that. And also make sure you're being very careful to work on self-esteem issues. All right, let's pull an oracle card for Leo. Okay, so you have Bone Collector. It kind of came out sideways, but more down than up. So I am going to read it in the reverse. There is something to do with time involving this person. It's number 1. So let's see that. Hold on just a second. Let me get it. All right, it says, you are whole and have everything you need within. Now, in the reverse, it says, the past has a way of repeating itself when you haven't learned the lesson of the original situation. You're faced with this now. The bone collector challenges you to see yourself as a whole being and not one who is perpetually trying to heal an old wound. You'll repeat the past if you don't reclaim the things you believe were lost. The information you seek lies in your history. Familiarity in this case isn't an invitation to dance the old dance once again. It is a call to retreat and to choose differently. The bone collector has a message. If you do what you did, you'll get what you got. Her warning is delivered with kindness, for she has deep love and respect for you. She will protect you. So I like that you're protected, but that is a perfect summary of what I'm seeing here. So just be sure that you are choosing differently. Make sure that your boundaries are in place and that you yourself are not leaning into previous toxic energy. All right. I hope this has been helpful, Leo. If you have resonated with this reading, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. And until I see you, and hype the video too if you get the opportunity. But until I see you in your next reading, Leo, know that you are loved and namaste.